Hello, welcome to this episode of City Sense. I'm Daphna Schwartz. I'm the Finance Director for the City of Mebane, and today I am going to be talking about our popular annual financial report for the fiscal year July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. And so I'm going to share my screen and we can look at the popular annual financial report, or PAFR, together. Okay, so this is our popular annual financial report for the year ended June 30th, 2023. And just to talk a little bit about what is a PAFR, or popular annual financial report, it is a document that contains information from our annual comprehensive financial report, which is a very large document that goes into a lot of detail. So, and that is on our website if you want to take a look at that as well. But this is a summary of the highlights and of financial and statistical information that is in a user-friendly format. So a lot of people prefer this to the large report. So what is our form of government here in Mebane? So we have a manager form of government. And our council consists of a mayor and 5 council members, and they are the policy-making and legislative authority for the city. They're responsible for passing ordinances, adopting the budget, appointing committees, and hiring the city's manager and attorney. And they also have other duties. And there's a picture of our mayor and council and staff members there. Mebane has several boards and committees and commissions that the public is welcome to serve on when there are openings. There's an application process, and when we have openings, they are posted on our website. So among what the boards and committees that we have are the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Commission, the Board of Adjustment, the Planning Board, the Racial Equity Advisory Committee, and the Recreation and Parks Advocacy Commission. And there's a link there if you want more information. So we'll move along. The PAFR contains a message from the city manager, goes over many of the services provided by the city, many of which you're familiar with, but it includes, fire and police services, yard waste and trash pickup, parks, among other things. There's a quick overview of our departments, so I'll keep moving along. The PAFR provides some history about Mebane. One of the most interesting things here are the demographics. Mebane's population as of June 30th was 19,338, and the median age of residents was 35.8 years. So Mebane is in a strong economic position. We're growing on all fronts: residential, commercial, and industrial. And residential inspections conducted during the last fiscal year was over 8,000. For commercial inspections, it was over 2,500. So there's a lot going on in Mebane. We have a good employment base. As you can see, our top 10 employers based on the number of employees they have, with ABB as the top number with 805 employees. So we'll keep going here. So now we'll get into more of the financials. So obviously Mebane is a government, and we set up our financial structure using the governmental fund basis of accounting. We have a general fund, which most functions of the government are paid for from that fund. That's the fund where property taxes and sales taxes are receipted. And we also pay for police, fire, recreation and parks, sanitation and public works, and general government, all out of that fund. We have one proprietary or business type fund, which is our utility fund, and that's the fund that takes care of our water and wastewater system, and that's where we collect the water and sewer fees into that fund. And it's a business type fund because we are providing a service for a fee, and so it's similar to a business in that respect. We also have a capital reserve fund for utilities, and that is where we receive system development fees, which are fees that are paid by new development. So we have a budget cycle that we go through to develop the budget every year. We're going through that process now. It typically starts in the November-December timeframe with a budget kickoff, and in January, our department heads submit their budget requests, and in February and March, the finance department's reviewing those requests, and then in the March and April timeframe, the city council has typically 3 budget work sessions, and those are public meetings, and that is where the department heads present their requests to the city council, and also where the city council discusses capital requests and personnel requests. Then in May, the manager presents his recommended budget to the council at the May council meeting, which is the first Monday in May. And then the first Monday in June, the city council typically approves a budget at that time. And then the budget begins July 1st. So net position is revenues minus expenses. For a for-profit business, net position is a very important number. Typically represents what a business is worth and what it could be sold for. So in government, that's very different. It still means revenues minus expenses, but it takes into account all of our assets, which a government has a lot of assets, not only parks, buildings, but we have the business type activities have all of the infrastructure for the water system. The governmental activities have all of the roads and streets that belong to the city. So there's a lot of assets that are represented by the net position number. So that's why it's extremely large, because of all of the assets that we have. So it does not, that number does not represent cash. Some of it's cash, but a lot of it's assets. So here's our history of our net position. As you can see, it's grown over the years. The top chart is the governmental activities net position, then business type, and then the citywide net position. Fund balance. So you can consider that maybe what you have for your savings. It's something that the city keeps on hand for one-time expenses or emergencies. And so you kind of think of that as a savings account. And as of the fiscal year 23, the goal for the fund balance policy was changed to 33%. So we want to keep 33% of our annual budgeted expenditures and transfers as our fund balance, so that we can cover anything unexpected or opportunities that come up. Top revenue sources for the general fund are property taxes and sales taxes, which is included in unrestricted intergovernmental. So as you can see here, in the bottom bar chart, our revenues for the general fund have been increasing over time. So here's a list of our principal property taxpayers in Mebane, and their taxable assessed value is there. So Lotus Bakeries is at the top there, and Tanger Properties is at the bottom. But the good thing is, when you look at the percentage of the total taxable assessed value, our top taxpayer is only 3% of our tax base, which is good. We would not want our top 10 taxpayers to be 50% or 70% of our tax base, because that means if one of these companies went out of business, we would be impacted greatly. But as you can see, we're not in that situation, so that's good. So the bottom pie chart shows our general fund expenditures. And so the public safety is our largest expense, and that would be police and fire, followed by public works, which represents the department that handles sanitation and maintains our roads and streets, sidewalks, stormwater, such as that. Then you can see our general fund expenditures over the last 5 years and how each department has changed over the years. And then at the bottom, you see our general fund balance, and you can see our unassigned fund balance, which that would be fund balance that the city can use for any purpose. It's not restricted or assigned to a specific purpose. This shows the assessed value of the city, of the property in the city, and how that has increased over time. Our percentage collected is very high, which is good. It's close to 100%, so that's excellent. Your taxpayer dollar. So if you're wondering where your taxpayer dollar goes, if the dollar is split up, so 37 cents in every dollar would go to public safety, 22 cents in every dollar would go to public works. Then there's general government, which includes the finance department, human resources, IT, public information office, administration. And then following that is economic and physical development. That would include planning and inspections and engineering, and then recreation and debt service. On the next page, we start to talk about the utility fund, which is the fund where we receive the water and sewer revenue and where we take care of those assets. And so you see primarily the source of revenue is the charges for services, for water and sewer services. And the expenditures for the year ended June 30, 2023, a large amount was for other financing uses, and those were transfers to capital project funds. We have several capital projects going on in utilities, which I'll list later in the video, but a lot of those were transfers to those capital projects. And then next is utility maintenance, and that's the department that maintains all of our water and sewer lines and infrastructure of the system. So next we'll talk about our capital budget. This lists some of our capital projects that are going on. Kate's Farm Park, we're building an accessible playground, and that's one of our big capital projects for the general fund. The Lake Michael Dam spillway needs to be renovated, and that is also a general fund project that's going on. The water resource recovery facility renovation is a large project which just finished up in this fiscal year a couple months ago. And then upcoming, we have an expansion for the water resource recovery facility. And those are utility projects. The elevated water tank and GKM pump station are also utility projects. And so the elevated water tank, there's a new water tank being built in Mebane. And then you can see here our outstanding debt per capita. So how much debt does Mebane have per citizen? And that's $1,011 per citizen, which is a fairly low number. And in the chart below, it is expressed as a percentage of personal income, and for the average citizen, it's 2.2% of their income is that $1,011. And the next page here has a lot of statistics for the city. We have 366 park acres, 6 playgrounds. We list the police responses to calls, which is 21,256. It's just a neat little page here that you can go through and read some statistics on the city. If you want to understand your utility bill more, you can take some time and look at this. Just explains different aspects of your bill. And then there's a glossary of terms in the back for anything that you weren't quite sure about or wanted some more information on. And then I wanted to point out that we have a lot of social media connections where you can hook up with us on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, LinkedIn, and paying your bill online. So if you're a citizen on our water system, I encourage you to pay your bill online. You'll save a stamp, and it's just convenient for you. And also, if you want to stop your paper bill and only receive emailed bills, please email water@cityofmebane.com and provide your service address, and you can request that you stop receiving a paper bill and only receive an emailed bill, and that will prevent you from getting paper, and it'll save the city on postage, and it's environmentally friendly. We have a water scope, which is something that you can register for, where you can see your water usage. It can alert you to changes in your usage, which could alert you to a leak. And I recommend signing up for that as well. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for joining me on this episode of City Sense, and have a great day.